Hey fellas, so this time around I want to talk about being underskilled against being underlived. This is something that I've been thinking about recently. I am 26 years old at the time of this recording, and I'm thinking about, like, have I lived enough? Have I learned enough? If am I falling behind? Is it something that I'm missing, or if I'm up to par with other people in my age, salary wise, knowledge wise, social wise, it's just I want to know if I'm keeping up and not falling behind, right? But essentially, what I want to talk about in this video is just coming up with solutions if you feel either of the two, right? Like what certain steps can you take to be not feel unskilled anymore, to not feel that you're underlived, right? I think that's the purpose of this video, and I want to share. I would like for you guys to share some time with me in order to explore this topic. So the first thing that comes into mind, and at first I want to tackle on, if you feel unskilled, right? And I'm going to talk about what I know, what I'm more familiar with. And that's basically being in, uh, more on the techie side, more on the hard skills type of person. And so, yeah. So I think if I'm underskilled, I think the first step is to acknowledge, like, what exactly am I underskilled in, right? So I think step one is definitely auditing your skills, right? Am I missing something? Is there something I want to break into? Is this something that I want to do, career wise? I don't want to I don't want to end up in a manual labor position forever, and so what what requires me to be in a more um, physically less demanding type of environment, type of employment is to basically work with the mind, right? And so I will start with listing what I can do confidently. Am I good with computers to begin with? Am I good with numbers? Can I organize certain things in my head rationally and critically, and also be able to communicate that to somebody if they want a rundown of what's going on, right? Um, I think step B in this step one would be, identifying what is in demand right now, right? Like, what skills am I missing that the industry I want to break into is requiring, or is in demand, right? And so I chose a path of data, and so data requires, um, well, data is big, right? Data is big, right? So being in data requires understanding of simple data quality corrections, um, simple data analytics to explain what data is talking about, um, data prediction, which is data science and machine learning, data governance, which is like the umbrella topic for data quality. So, like, being in the know of what I want to do in data, and what steps do I have to take in order to be in this realm, right? And so I chose data. Maybe you want to choose software development or computer science if you're still in college, or if you're transitioning into community college as an older adult. Maybe there are certain other things that you can also look into. If you're good with the words and you're comfortable speaking with people, then perhaps project management is what you want to be into. Um, or even a managerial position. If you understand what you're doing, and if you understand the business well enough to be able to lead people, then definitely take some management courses, or some self development courses in order to be, sorry, some leadership courses in order to be a more of an effective leader. And of course, the next job is to step C in the step one in auditing your skills is to understand, like, what roles uh, that I want I should look into and review, so I can know which which in the job description I could better in order to ace that interview once you get it. And so the second step I want to transition to is to learn one skill at a time deeply. I want to say if you're new to um, a leadership position, then I would suggest taking a leadership course very seriously and trying to understand the theory that they're trying to teach you, and then be able to apply it later when you're actually in this leadership role. If you're more on the data and technical side, then you will have to pretty much know or master the software that you're going to use for your job, whether it be if it's a internship level or entry level, then Excel, SQL, and Python is definitely good. And if you're pretty new to Excel, if you're pretty new to SQL, which is basically like 90% of the job, then take the time to understand it and master it. Make it non-negotiable. Block off your calendar in order to dedicate that time for studying. It doesn't have to be a lot. It could be 30 minutes of per commitment. It could be 60 minutes of per commitment. A couple of times a week. I would prefer it being once every other week, dedicating some time to really understand what's going on there, and then and all of this is to be very comfortable in this space. Right? And the third step to if you feel unskilled and you want to better it is to build a portfolio or log in your projects into, it could be GitHub, it could be on LinkedIn. Perhaps LinkedIn is a lot more visible if you create a profile and you write down what you've been doing and how you've been doing it as one of your posts. Then that's something that employers can look into when they search your profile after you have submitted an application. So, in short, just applying. It's essentially applying what you have learned, right? You build small projects or documents on Excel, on Word, or even SQL scripts that match the Excel report or project that you were working on. All of this is to communicate or to demonstrate to your audience that you have an idea what you're doing. I know Word is definitely not as well. What's the word? Uh, Word in corporate, what I've seen be used for mainly is drafting SOPs. It could be a typical standard operating procedure. It could be a guideline. It could be pretty much outlining the scope, the keywords, the definitions, the task, and pretty much instructions on how to do an important task within the team. So yeah, Word is perfect for crafting SOPs. Excel's and SQL is more on the technical side, just pulling data, and of course you can make an SOP based off of what you do on Excel and SQL. And the point, and of course, the purpose of an SOP is for the reader to understand or to be able to replicate what you do. And you can obviously upload that onto GitHub or onto LinkedIn and show like, hey, like I created this SOP to demonstrate what I know, and be able to create a document that's well presented, coherent, and usable. Uh, the fourth and fifth steps I would like to share. The fourth one being is like learning in in public communities. So like joining a Discord server or looking up on a subreddit. That basically covers what the topic that you want to break into, right? Learning what are the lessons learned from people who are trying to break into or who are already in the space that you want to break into. This is important because you ask questions to those uh, who are experienced, and they will share with you the lessons learned, and then there you go. You get a first hand explanation of what to do and what not to do. The last step in this, trying to feel better, or try to up your skills if you feel under skilled. It's basically to start small. Definitely, it doesn't matter. It wouldn't work if you tackle on like a huge project and then you start to work on it, and then somewhere along the lines you get stuck or you feel incompetent because you got stuck. That doesn't help. Um, when we all go to the gym for the first time, we're not lifting like two plates, right? We're lifting not even a single plate. We're lifting the bar, and that same analogy can be applied here. Like we're starting off small. I would suggest if you're gonna hop on Word, start off with the scope and the borderlines that help partition your your table of contents for that SOP. It doesn't have to be filled in all the way. Just simple explanation of what's in scope, and yeah, that's pretty much step one in creating or finishing your SOP. If it's an Excel file, then download the data and then clean it up using a basic Excel tools or Excel functions, and trying to apply DAX, which is the learning language for Excel, just to get your hands dirty. And of course, we're starting off small here. We're not gonna build the next spreadsheet software. We're just simply trying to get our hands dirty and understanding what's going on. If it's more on the soft skills side, put into play what you've learned in practice, right? What you learn in theory is definitely important, but it's also more important to see how it works in practice, right? It starts small, but it definitely starts now, right? So yeah, the second part is to try to resolve the issue of how you feel. If you feel underlived, right? Underlived being you were in the grind, you're putting in all this work, your time is really committed to other things, so you really aren't able to have that freedom that one would desire in order to live life, right? And so the step one is to start by asking yourself, like, what have I been avoiding, right? And so I would suggest to write a list of someday, right? Let's start off broad and general right now. Someday I want to achieve this goal. I have these dreams, but for some reason these experiences have been delayed. And what are those experiences, right? I guess for me, what I can share, um, for a while now, I've been a lot more risk adverse. So I'm thinking that I'm thinking I'm about ready to switch that, right? Be a lot more inclined to, hey, like if it's something that I haven't done in a while or I haven't done at all, let's go ahead and do it. Let's see how it goes. It's helpful if you're gonna do the activity with another person, but it's a lot more of a learning opportunity if you're doing it by yourself. I travel alone, quite frankly, and I don't travel for like a couple of days or a week. I travel for like a whole month, and that experience is irrecoverably I can't even say the word, but it's highly valuable. I love it. I've done it like what 4 times already, coming up to five this summer, and it's something that I never once thought I was doing, but now I am. The second would be to um, choosing how to, I guess, how to expand your life. Right? It's pretty much starting off being honest. Like, what are your fears? What are your habits? What is your routine? What has kept you from being like, all right, man, like let's hit it. Let's just be new. Let's let's do something that everybody else is shocked that I've started doing it. And then now you're like, okay, I have taken into account what's new with me, or what I have been doing consistently, and what I have been avoiding. and now your the point is to, all right, let me start doing something insane. So that could be uh traveling solo, which I personally have been doing. Maybe you want to learn how to dance, which I did back in December time. Moving cities is something that I will be doing soon, and maybe maybe you want to do something crazy like, I don't know, karaoke or stand-up comedy. I personally don't want to do that, and quite frankly, I feel a bit like more embarrassed. So maybe that's something I should eventually try, but it's definitely not on my radar. But essentially, what I want to convey here is to start doing something small, even though the examples I just mentioned are pretty big. Try to do something in relation to it. If you don't want to travel that far and for that long, you could travel something. You could travel to a place that's a lot closer, and for a shorter amount of time. If you don't want to learn how to dance, maybe you can learn how to dance in a class setting. It could be in a private setting. That you yourself or with a person who a person of confidence. Moving cities, I would start with Airbnb in it if you have the time and resources for it. Gain to feel for the city and trying to see what's going on out there. But essentially, you want to say yes to discomfort, right? You want to feel weird when you're out there. Essentially, schedule it, do it within a week or two. It's a learning opportunity for yourself. The last one, or sorry, the third step is to say yes, say yes to three new experiences in a certain time frame. It could be a month, it could be a couple of weeks. You know, try something new. Join a new group on Discord or at school, or talk to new people in class. I would also say attend a class. Um, it could be a dance class. It could be a community college class if you're not in school. It could be church if you're religious or if you're open to it. And you can say good morning or good afternoon, or if you like somebody's attire, to a complete random stranger. The idea is to start to get out there, right? And of course, the point of this is to build confidence. Is to be able to say hi to any person in the future after you're done practicing, as if it's nothing to you, right? You can make it to make it if you will. The step four would be, I would say, what has helped me. So I recommend it personally is to keep a journal. Write down uh, what you experienced, what came of it, and what you want to, like what how it made you feel alive. Did it make you feel brave? Did it make you be more in the moment, in the present? And to be honest, for doing this perhaps at a regular basis would definitely help you alleviate those feelings that you have in your head and that stress that you initially feel, and then keep that as a, what's the word, as a nice um memory. You started off small, but now you're doing something huge that's really crazy, right? And then that's the point of journaling. You can read it later and you can say, hey man, like I did that, right? And step five, I would argue it's the most important one, is to definitely change your environment, right? If you hate your job, figure out a way to get out of it and get into a better position elsewhere. If you hate a certain aspect of your everyday life, it could be your room. Maybe your room is a bit dirty. You know, it shouldn't be dirty, honestly, but start off by cleaning it. If you have dirty laundry or unfolded laundry, go ahead and do it. Make your bed every day. The idea of this is to be surrounded by something that's a lot more appealing to look at, instead of looking at something that's like, what the hell, like what the hell is this, right? But yeah, that's essentially what I want to talk about right now is comparing and contrasting. Uh, if you want to be underlived at your 30s or underskilled in your 30s. Luckily, both are both have remedies, both have solutions. The idea is to find a time um, to discipline yourself and dedicate some time to improve either door. Unfortunately, however, you are an adult. You do have adult you do have adult responsibilities, and the point um, of doing all of this is to grab some of that time that you have saved for or reserved for something more important, and try to apply it to developing yourself. Right. I would argue is definitely a win if you're able to remedy either of the two if you're feeling one or the other, because if you feel like you're stuck, if you feel like you haven't improved, that's just a shitty feeling. I don't think anybody wants to feel like that. I think somebody wants to always feel like they're progressing and they're working towards something. And I'd argue that dedicating some time to improve yourself is honestly one of the best things that you could do that you could do for your personal growth and mental stability. All right, then, fellas. Um, luckily, you can also blend these two paths. You can grow and live at the same time. You could use your new skill set to launch a new could be YouTube channel or blog. You can also well in your blog or podcast or YouTube channels you can communicate to others who have been also feeling in this in this space of like, oh, like I can't do it anymore, but you definitely can. Share your story with somebody else is definitely a way to communicate, or firstly document what you've been doing, and also inspiring others to do the same. It's definitely something that you should feel inclined to do in the future. Alright then, fellas, I hope you guys liked this video. I have one more that I want to pump out before I knock out right now. I have been MIA for a while, and that's not cool. So, alright then, fellas, I'll talk to you next time.
This really like, fuck.